So do you know what the food Yeah, that one. Yeah. This one? Yeah. Yeah, because of it. Okay. Where do you want me to sit? Either or. Yeah. No, you're here. You're there. Yeah. No, that's this shot. No, you're there. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Stonewood Homes Parker versus Farr Fight of the Century at Spark Arena on the 27th of February next year. We'd like to thank our broadcast sponsors, NZME, Spark Sport, which I'm hearing already there's some very impressive pay-per-view numbers coming through already for this fight, and also Andrew Sims. Over 100 corporate tables have been sold already. It's captured the public's imagination, and 6,000 GA tickets have been sold at Spark. So no doubt we're going into the Christmas break, but it's a pretty good Christmas present if you're interested in getting a ticket or something like that. Dare say, come February 27, those tickets will not be available. Now, the purpose of this press conference today is twofold. It's first of all to find out exactly the health situation of Junior Farr and to see where he's at, and also just to get a little bit more in depth with the fighters on this fight, because you know, I obviously used to work for Duco. They've brought me in to talk about this fight, and you know, I probably know Joseph's record better than most, and so there's been a couple of questions that I'd like to ask Joseph. I haven't done a press conference with him since the end of Cardiff in 2018. What we will do is we will bring our star people up here. They'll be asked a couple of questions, probably sit down after that, and then it'll be an all-in, so all the microphones will be here, you'll all be on mic. So Junior Farr, if you'd like to come up here, please. I have the obvious question for you, and that is, how is your health, and what kind of shape are you going to be in February 27? In front of the microphones, please.
Hello everyone. So just like this past year, you know, it hasn't really been the best year. I think for all of us as well, and certainly for my health too, but I'm just looking forward to next year and the new fight date. So for this question, I've really just put my health in that past behind me. I'm just looking forward towards the new date, and I just can't wait to you know, get back in the ring. It's been over a year since I fought, so I'm really excited for this one. Okay, just stay in front of those microphones and looking towards the cameras.
People want to know, they're buying tickets. How healthy are you compared to Joseph Parker?
I'm going to be very, very healthy and very, very fit for this fight. For this fight, I'm probably going to be at the best shape that I've been. You know, I've since the surgery, since these past couple of weeks that I've just been recovering, I just feel better, just in comparison to basically what I was leading up to the past day. So I'm feeling great. You know, I'm feeling great. I can't wait to get back into the gym to full training, so I can actually, you know, put this feeling into actual, you know, test mode and, you know, full-on training mode. But yeah, I'm feeling very excited. I just can't wait to fight. You know, just keen to hurt someone.
So in that recovery, you were telling me just before that you've been watching a lot of Joseph's fights. Could you tell me, first of all, how often are you watching that Joshua fight, and what have you seen?
Yeah, for the past few weeks, I've just been instructed from the doctor just to take it easy, so I can't really do anything physical. So with that, I've just been doing a lot of study. You know, trying to catch on patterns, certain things that Joe does in fights, certain things that he finds difficult. And yeah, and then with that being said, I've been studying a lot of his losses, you know, between Joshua, Dillian White, certain patterns that he's been kind of showing in those fights as well. Also certain areas in the Bergman fight as well, certain things in that one too. And yeah, and then so just from that, I've just been doing a lot of study, and like I said before, I just can't wait to train and fight.
Okay, so for the casual fan, they won't remember the Bergman fight. That was the game one in Samoa, and most obviously he was a southpaw. Are you saying that you've been going to be fighting southpaw?
I'm going to be practicing everything that I feel like he is weak on. So, yeah, so there's just a lot of spaces that I feel I can work on to basically expose those weaknesses that I see.
Where was a weakness in the Joshua fight?
Without going away too much, I felt that he was a bit, a bit timid, a bit gun shy in that fight. A few things that I've noticed there as well, but those are things that I've implemented into my own camp, and I really don't want to, share too much about it as well.
What would you say about Joseph's record since fighting Joshua? He took on Dillian Whyte, which was a big fight, but then after that, he took on people like Alexander Flores, who was ranked 184 in the world, and then he took on Alex Leopai. Alex Leopai was a guy who fought Vladimir Klitschko in 2014. We were at the fight, and he threw 5 punches to Klitschko's 147, and he was 34 years old, and he was embarrassed, but Joseph could not put him away until the 10th round, and by that stage, he was 39 years old. Have you watched that fight? Tell me what you think of that fight.
Yeah, I've seen that fight. I've seen the past few fights that he's had after his losses. There is a bit of a change in terms of aggression there, but he couldn't really put those guys away pretty much straight away. So I think it speaks to the actual power that he possesses. So yeah, so like it was his past few fights, I haven't really been too impressed from it, but. This is a new challenge, and yeah, come February 27th, I think that we're both going to put on a good show.
All right, let you sit down for a little bit there. Bring Joseph along. Hey, Joseph, you've obviously heard that he thought that you were timid against Anthony Joshua. You've heard it all before, obviously, in these press conferences, though. But just your thoughts on him coming back, saying that he's going to be healthy, and the fact that he seems quite focused.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here, or good afternoon. It's good to see Junior and his team here. Good to see him healthy and ready for the fight, February 27. I was ready to go December 12, and they should have taken me on then because I was fighting with injury or training with injuries. But since the fight got postponed, I took the time to go in and get surgery on both elbows, and now I reckon by February 27 I'm going to be way better. Stronger, faster, no injuries, no problems. So like him, I'm looking forward to the new date.
Okay, so just going back to a past life, I was obviously in the camp when you had those elbow injuries, and then when the Anthony Joshua fight, you actually felt no pain in the lead up to that fight. So what's the difference between that surgery, which was done end of December?
End of 2017.
2017, yeah.
Oh, it's the same surgery, just a lot of bone chips and, sparring, a lot of inflammation, swelling. But I guess with the surgery that I had, that'll be all cleared. No injuries now.
So why not, was it that bad that you would have considered not doing the fight?
No, I was going to fight either way. There's ways to work around injuries. And I wasn't going to pull out of the fight. But I guess once he pulled out of the fight or postponed it, I had time to work on myself.
Joseph, have you been the same since the 2 losses, realistically?
Have I been the same?
Same fighter? Like, I mentioned that Leopai fight. It took you 10 rounds to get rid of him. That Chantel Winters, he was 39 years old as well. You haven't got a signature knockout like, say, David Tua has against John Ruiz or his performance against Shane Cameron.
Yeah. February 27, that's my signature knockout. Yeah, I just told him.
Is it a case that if you were not to perform on that fight, that your relationship, say, with Kevin Barry would be questioned because you've obviously been there so far, you get stale. Graham Henry won a World Cup and he left. You had Steve Hansen, he won a World Cup, maybe stayed on too long. Would you question your relationship with Kevin Barry if you were not to beat Junior Farr?
With the fight, the plan is to win. We always go into a fight with confidence. But if things don't go as planned, then we have to assess. The team has to sit down and talk about what's the issues or, if we need improvement.
So you're not saying no, because obviously a lot of money's been spent on you by Matchroom, and you've also got David Higgins here as well. What would you question? Because you'd be, 28 years old? Still coming into the prime of your boxing career. You will have won a world title, but since that Joshua and Dillian White fight, you've been fighting guys who aren't that great, and then you can't get past Junior Far.
David, touch on that or?
Well, White wasn't a loss.
Yeah, actually, the White fight wasn't a loss. That was a headbutt.
And he's dodged a rematch ever since.
Oh, it is a loss actually on box ring.
Well,
Okay. I'll talk to Eugene. Eugene, obviously, it has been disruptive for you not having Junior available. How hard will it be to get up to speed? You'll have to come and sit in front of the camera, microphones. How hard will it be to get up to speed with a short run-in time?
Firstly, also, did you invite him? It was far easier when Higgins was taking the press conference. What were you thinking? Or was it Higgins? Nah, I appreciate Craig. He does a great job. Celebrity trainer's back. The head trainer's over there. He always, I think he intentionally forgets his Stonewood home shirt, so it forces me to come up and he gets to sit back there and laugh at me. But I'm happy to be here. You're going to have to rephrase that question again.
Well, obviously you've had a health issue. It's set you guys back. You've been in camps before, but it's set back. But we're looking at 2 months. It's a short lead-in time. He says he's going to be healthy, but there's a lot of people who bought tickets. You've got to tell us what kind of Junior Far is going to show up.
Now, look, we went out of our way to get the surgery as fast as we can, because obviously we built up a tremendous. We had Junior the fittest he's ever been in his life. The fittest he's ever been in his life. So it was important to get the surgery done so that any time that he rested, we weren't going to lose any of that, or we could minimise the loss and power, strength, and aerobic capacity that we had. We've managed to do that. We've still got a little while before we can start to hit full stride, but we haven't lost too much, and it's still, for us, our fitness and whatever we built up for the first fight, it's definitely recoverable. He's 100% going to make will be healthy on the date, and we're 100% turning up. You have my word on that.
So you talk about the celebrity boxer and
Celebrity trainer.
Okay, so how do you divvy things up?
Well, I'm just taking the piss, but the head trainer is actually Doug Viney, and I'm the assistant trainer. But oddly enough, I've become a little bit better at, I don't know, I've become the person that people want to hear on the microphone. So Doug is sitting in the background there, but make no mistake, Doug's the head trainer. He's a very successful boxer himself, very successful international fighter, one of New Zealand's best. And I'm just a part of the camp, and I help out fill different gaps up with me and the other coaches, just with strategy and tactics and stuff. So that's how the team works.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. I'll ask you in a second.
They heard it.
Anthony Joshua has given the game plan on how to fight Joseph Parker, big man versus little man. Yeah. Alexander Dimitrenko gave you a game plan of how not to fight Joseph Parker as a big guy. Those two fights, I would argue that the Dimitrenko fight in 2016 was the last time Joseph Parker looked amazing, and he was spectacular. Have you watched those videos down repeatedly and seen the difference and where you can go for Joseph?
Yeah, look, we watch, especially, we watch all the videos tirelessly, but the trick isn't watching a fight and seeing where Joseph's weaknesses are for that particular fight. The trick is to watch the fights in reference to the fighter that we have. We aren't Anthony Joshua. We aren't Dimitrenko. We aren't all these people. We have to figure out what our strengths are and what the things are to take from those fights that we think that Junior can take advantage of. It's not just as simple as saying, oh yeah, look, Joseph did this against Joseph Parker. Anthony Joshua did this well against Joseph. Everything has to be related back to Junior. That's the real trick of watching video and creating a strategy You can take all these things, but they mean nothing if you don't know your own fighter and what he can do.
But like I'm just thinking off the top of my head now, when we were looking at Joseph fighting a Deontay Wilder or a Anthony Joshua, there's lots of video of Joseph fighting tall guys. So he's going to have to come with an X factor because Joseph is used to fighting tall guys.
Yeah, like we have a plan, and Stanaway can sit up here and ask me as many questions. I'm not going to reveal. He's not going to trick me into revealing any of that plan. But he's already hit the nail on the head. Like we have some physical advantages that it's our duty to take care of. If we don't take care of those physical advantages that Junior has, then we're doing Junior an injustice. So there's some stuff you can feed off there. Like you can sit here and you can criticize the Anthony Joshua. He wasn't. Look, I'm a fighter. I know what it's like. Maybe not to fight Anthony Joshua, but I know what it's like when you have to stare down the barrel of someone with a right hand like that and a jab like that and someone with those sort of weapons. It's not as simple as he didn't perform. There's so much that goes into it. There's so many layers that go into it. It's not as simple as just criticizing Joseph for being timid. There's a lot that goes on that in a ring that your average person just don't know about.
Cool. Sit down.
Thank you, Craig.
Mark, if you come up here, just from your own personal perspective, the disruption that this has been, you can sugarcoat it all you like. It's been disruptive. And are you confident that we're going to see the best Junior Far in his career? Because really he has to be at his best to fight someone with Joseph's pedigree.
Yeah, I think the thing with juniors is we put in a 16-week camp going into the first fight, and so Junior had this amazing aerobic base and power base that we can essentially not rest our laurels on, but we can afford to have a few weeks off and not lose too much, and then be in just as good, if not better shape, because we've got a longer camp essentially. Yeah, it's a pain in the neck that we have an injury, that we have to postpone the fight for a few weeks. Joseph's had an injury, has had something which he's got sorted out. So we're exceptionally confident of Junior being in exceptionally good shape. The kind of work that we were doing from a power point of view is through the roof. And when you rest, you only get faster and you only get more powerful. So we've got this fantastic base, which is great. I mean, probably the biggest thing for me was the pain in the neck of it was rescheduling it with David and his team. And David was fantastic, but parts of his team were kind of, conspiracy therapists playing Dungeons and Dragons the whole time about whether we were really, having a few weeks off or not. And so that was a pretty painful process. I mean, I can't say enough. We worked at total light speed to get Junior fixed up and sorted, and to be able to get into the operating theatre with that length of time. His blood tests that have been having been going through the roof, where the specialists are surprised at the ability to recover from what he had. So we're over the moon. We couldn't be in a better spot than where we are right now for where we thought we were going to be. So we're really happy about that.
Yeah. If Junior doesn't beat Joseph, he's pretty much, he's not going to fight for the world title, is he? Let's be real. That you put all your eggs in one basket. This is all or nothing, this fight.
Sure. I mean, hey, we took a fight we thought we could win, and that's what we're doing. We're taking a fight we think we can win. It's just that simple. You don't take fights unless you think you can win them. That's the game of boxing. And professional boxing, you can pick and choose. You can avoid people. You don't have to sign a contract. You can take the guy away. We took a fight because we think we can win it. Now, one of these guys will win and one of them will lose. They're both young. Our team's perspective is, regardless of who wins or loses, we want to see them both of them go forward afterwards. And they're both talented enough to do that. Joseph's already been there. I mean, I agree with him. He didn't lose to Dillian White. He had a head clash. He shouldn't have 2 losses on his record. The Joshua fight could have been taken either way at any time. Joshua won. That's the way it goes. And he then took a really hard fight straight off. there's enough guys in the world wanting to fight, heavyweight fighters right now, that neither guy is going to get nailed if they don't win. You know, both the guys will move forward. Yes, it makes it harder for the guy that loses to move forward. Certainly makes it hard for our team to move forward based off Joseph's track record. Joseph has been at the top echelon of the sport. We're on the way up there, so of course it's harder for us. But you know, Junior wants to fight for another 5 years, and Junior will fight for another 5 years. You know, win or lose. But like I said, we took a fight because we believe we're going to win it, and that's why we did it. You know, and I'm sure Joseph and his team have done exactly the same thing. They think they're going to win the fight, so they take the fight. That's how fights get made. We don't have to fight anybody. They don't have to fight anybody. Here we are. We're here because we think we can win. It's just that simple.
Thanks. Hey, David, if you just come up here, you must be very encouraged by the public's uptake on this fight with so many corporate tables and the tickets that have been sold thus far.
It's been good, actually. Obviously, an event company in a pandemic, been tough, but, you know, there's massive interest in the show, and, you know, respect to Junior and to the conspiracy theorists, you know, there's none of that. He definitely wants to fight, otherwise he wouldn't be here. I just want to say, I love the Duco logo on Eugene, and Doug doesn't have a Duco logo on him, but there's always next time. Anyway, next question.
What do you, if Joseph was to go down, your role with him would be questioned as well, wouldn't it? Because he's a young fighter, and he would have stagnated, and it would be time for new blood, wouldn't it?
Well, yes and no. My role is to make business deals, basically, and at boxing at this level, you're dealing with academically PhDs like Bob Arum and gangsters and everything in between. So my job is to make the deal. I don't pretend to be an expert on boxing. So that's up to Joseph to make that decision.
You're a risk taker. You've had a highly successful business being a risk taker, and in many of the fights that Joseph took, particularly the Carlos Takam fight, was a risk. Taking on Dimitrenko was a risk before Ruiz. Taking on Joshua was a risk at the time, and taking on Dillian White was a risk. How much of a risk are these guys taking compared to those risks that you took?
I don't want to be disrespectful, so I'll put it like this. Junior's the underdog, and that puts a lot of pressure on our side, and Joseph, who's not used to being in that position. Like, there's actually a bit of pressure because, you know, Joseph's been on the big stage, you know, we got everything to lose. So it's, you know, and the team, like Eugene and the team, and, you know, and Doug is in a medalist, I think, at one of the games, and they know how to win. So the last thing we should do is take it for granted. That's when, you know, pride comes before the fall. So we respect it. It's a proper fight. Let's see what happens.
All right, I've asked enough questions. If you want to talk to someone, we'll just get them up on, so you've got the microphones, and we'll just go from there, yeah? Oh, you have to. Junior, if you just come up here.
Junior, are you able to tell us yet what the surgery was?
Nah, rather not.
Why is that?
Oh, it's just a bit personal, you know.
Do you know, can you tell us when you had it?
Basically the day after the press conference, the last press conference there. Yeah, so straight after that.
7:30 a.m.
Yeah, pretty early.
Yeah.
What was the recovery time on that? Obviously, you're still probably recovering from it. But
Yeah.
what was the estimated recovery time, and how are you tracking? That you're obviously making a quicker recovery.
Yeah, I mean, like the actual recovery time to like a normal life was like two or 3 weeks. We're saying, eh?
Yeah,
I think
straight after, to be able to start training, it was a few weeks. It was 3 to 4 weeks, but he's been jogging for a week and a half, which is amazing. They just, obviously you're healing from a surgery, and you have stitches, and you've got to be careful on the movement of those stitches. And so Junior's had no bleeding or anything like that for a week and a half. He's been jogging for a week and a half. It's been great. So he's been 40-minute running already, which is fantastic. Way ahead of the curve, over the moon.
Did you feel that you had then, after the surgery, put nail on the head here, and you can't see it giving you any more?
Nah. Yeah. So surgery was definitely, a 100% success. I had a great surgeon as well. And my body's just basically receiving like everything great. I think I'm ahead of my actual recovery time. So yeah, so I expect to be in full training mode earlier than expected.
Have you noticed a difference in how you're actually feeling? Can you feel
Straight away, yeah.
your body? Can
Yeah.
you walk through that compared to what you maybe were feeling before that?
Oh, I didn't feel too much of a drop before, but now I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great, and and like I do really want to start training straight away, but I just got to be careful that I don't push things too hard too early. Otherwise, it's just a step back, and then there's I'm basically back to square one. So yeah, I'm feeling great. Surgery was a success. I'm doing well. Can't wait to train.
Where are you at workload at the moment? What can you do at the moment to running to get to that, and when are you hoping to be able to be back training as a target day?
Kind of playing things by ear, But I would say a full camp come probably January sometime. But but basically the lead up to that is just all like real light stuff like jogging, shadow boxing, and just basically what I said before, a lot of watching and basically reviewing tapes and just thinking of things that I can improve on.
No more? Oh, you want Joseph? Yep.
Joseph, you talked about your elbows and with the fight being pushed back, give you a bit of time to look at that again. Is that actually, have you revisited it? Is it a new surgery you've had? Is that what you were meaning?
Yeah, I had a new surgery on the 1st of December and the 11th, both arms. Just bone chips, a lot of bone chips, and had to shave off a lot of bone inside. So this one's getting better. I'm not able to punch yet. I'll probably be able to punch in the first week of January or around that time when we start camp.
How's that recovery been from that so far?
Sore, painful, still bruised, it's fresh. So it's a bit of recovery, and I just have to stay healthy. And hopefully when we start camp, I should be able to punch. Otherwise, I'll have problems.
Does that mean that the first surgery wasn't as much of a success as you'd hoped?
The first surgery was good. It was very successful. But I think over time and with everything that we're doing, throwing a lot of punches, doing a lot of weights, and all the training we're doing, just more bone keeps growing, and it's just it's not easy to train with injuries and pain. I think it's something I might be able to, if I fight for another 4 or 5 years, hopefully it doesn't happen again. But it might happen again.
Why were you prepared to fight against Tara on the original date, despite I suppose having no problems?
I didn't want to pull out of the fight. I wanted to fight December 12. In my head, get a victory, and then have a good Christmas.
So you would have needed to have surgery again?
I would have had surgery straight after the fight. Yeah.
I know you've got a fight yourself, but a lot of the theme about today has been about how you're not good anymore, about your weaknesses,
Yeah.
about how you does that piss you off that there's been all the focus negative about you?
Not really. Everyone has an opinion, and everyone can say what they want to say. As long as I have my, what drives me and what motivates me to keep boxing, then I'm okay.
Would you still be driven and motivated if you did lose?
Yeah, always. I've given myself 4 or 5 years to fight, and I'll be driven and motivated for the next 4 or 5 years. But I don't plan on losing.
Eugene, what's the situation with Israel potentially sparring with Junior? I know that was kind of put on hold. Is that back on now?
Yep. No, we'll have Israel and Carlos for the full camp, which is brilliant. As Joseph's team know and our team knows, like sparring partners are in this country are at a bit of a premium. Good sparring partners, so there was a bit of a bit of a hunt to grab all the sparring partners before each other. The teams were on a little bit of a hunt, searching for the same sparring partners for a little while. But yeah, Israel, he has a scheduled fight, and we will fly out to America the day after Junior's fight. So that puts us here. That puts them doing their same camps simultaneously, which is going to be like, massive for Junior to have Israel doing his camp. And a lot of the other UFC guys who will be on that same card will be doing their camp with Junior. When you got to witness it, but when all those guys are pushing each other and pumping the bikes together and sparring together, it's I've never seen anything like that in any gym around the world. It's something special, something we perhaps weren't able to have, but it's one of the benefits for us, one of the few benefits for us of having the camp delayed by a bit. Is, yeah, that advantage.
If Israel is focusing on a fight, though, I imagine you won't have a lot of time to spend with Junior, or will you be able to?
There's a lot of the, a fair bit of the conditioning drills that we do for 12 rounds of boxing and we do for 5 rounds of MMA. A lot of them cross over. A lot of them are the same. And in my gym, how we spar is everybody spars together for the first few rounds, so basically half the rounds, and then the MMA guys split up, the boxing guys split up, the kickboxing guys split up, and then they do their specific rounds for their sport. And we do that so that each group from each specific code can spar together and make the other group better. So the MMA guys will spar, the kickboxers spar, the boxers spar, and it just makes everybody better. That's why we run it like that. So they will actually get a lot of sparring time together, and there will be some special sparring sessions that we schedule for Junior where I'll have selected, me and Doug will have selected sparring partners there specifically for that sparring, yeah.
Is it still the David Higgins show?
Sorry?
Still the David Higgins show?
Hey, it's the frickin' Craig Stanaway show today, though. Don't know why Joseph invited him. He come up here and rocked it up, but that's why we love Craig.
Mark mentioned, I guess, there were a couple of people, parts of the team, that maybe weren't as forthcoming, or maybe were just a bit of a pain in the neck during the negotiations, but were they?
Just anybody with the surname Higgins, but not necessarily him, because there's other Higgins. So maybe not him. He was, yeah. Nah, look, we're not going to get up here and point fingers at different people. The point is that both teams work together to get this business sorted out, and we're here. We're 100% going ahead on the 27th. When you get this is the funny thing about boxing: you get two opposing teams. They got to come together to make the business happen. Otherwise, we don't have the fight. And the teams have, in that regard, there was some back and forth, but the business side of it got done, and that's the fantastic part of it. We're going to be treated to I think it's going to be one of the most fantastic boxing fights in New Zealand history. Yeah, the Samoans and the Tongans, and I'm Samoan, but I'm on the Tongan side.
All good.
Joe,
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
just with the whole not being able to go back to Vegas, that sort of things,
Yep.
in terms of quarantine and all that, does that make things trickier? Or, I know you guys like to train over there, you and Kevin.
It's nice to train in Vegas because of the sparring partners, and
So I was
yeah.
gonna ask,
So it's like Eugene said, it's quite hard to get sparring partners, and we're all looking for the same guys to help us. But I'm enjoying being in New Zealand and training here. A lot more time with my family, and I got a good setup which I think will work for this camp.
and where are you at, sparring partners?
Sparring partners, David Nika.
Oh, hold on.
How is he still?
I think he's coming.
He's coming.
I
Yeah.
lost it, brother.
Text him now. David Nika and Matty, another guy, and a few others. And we might even get some UFC guys if they keen to jump ship.
Okay, I think we're done. Do you want to stare down?
Yeah, that's always good.
Okay.
TV? Yeah, steer down between Craig and Joe.
Only here for one night.
No.
Okay, so guys, I'll get you to. Get you to go in front. Just on that. And your fists up. And looking towards the front.
Bring up your right, guys, just bring up your right, Joe, please. Thanks. Bring you back here. Thanks.
And if you stand straight on with crossed arms. Thank you, guys. We're done. Appreciate you coming here. Stay safe. And Merry Christmas.
You try to take I'm trying right now. No, no.